Satellite tracking. We've got a very strong research base. Again, Peter Scott started that. All our work is based on sound science. We do a lot of tracking of migratory birds to see exactly what the migration problems are, where they're actually settling down, whether it's consistent. And by putting it on a website, you can then encourage schools, ordinary people everywhere to follow what's happening on a day-by-day basis. And that has been very, very popular and very effective way, again, of getting across to people. This is an interesting one. Beautiful bird, the red-breasted goose, is in decline, particularly in the last 10 years. We're trying to find out the reasons for it, but we know that one of them is the hunting pressures. It's illegal to hunt in Eastern Europe, to actually shoot red-breasted geese, but it does happen because they're often in groups of other goose species. So we're working with schools there, because these are the people of the future there, particularly in Bulgaria, where it's one of the overwintering sites of the red-breasted goose, and we're working with them to try and get them to take pride in the kind of native wildlife they've got and the beauty of that wildlife, in the hope that later on they'll have a different attitude towards nature conservation. Media. We touched on that this morning with David, the power of the media. It's also how you handle the media, and this can bring a little bit of controversy into things, because there's, as it says there, one story, but two different ways of looking at it. We undergo a census of many species each year, but certainly swans, and have done for years and years and years. If you put that story out as a swan census, I'll go back again actually. If you put it out as a swan census as it is, you can see you don't get much coverage. It's dry, it's a dry subject, and you only have to have something else happen somewhere in the country, like a general election, and you lose it. You put it out as a divorce story, because this was fascinating. Two Buick swans that we've known for years, who were a partnership, and as you know, swans tend to mate for life, arrived with two separate partners. That went out as a story, masses of publicity. Now, we could be accused of dumbing down. But I think that's an insult to the British people. I don't think it's dumbing down at all. You use the tools you've got. We've got to actually interest people, even if it's humorous. You've got to get across. Years ago, when I was running a wildlife trust, we actually put out a press announcement about dormouse boxes in the Chilterns. We actually put the press announcement out as 1,000 new homes in the Chilterns. You bet your life everyone in the Chilterns read that story. Iconic species. We know about the red kite in this country and the impact that's made. We're involved with an introduction of the European crane. And another way of actually just getting through to people and fascinating them. Nature and art is another example. Peter Scott started that. There's a couple of examples there. We're also running a big photographic competition at the moment that's attracted over 5,000 entries. Wildlife photographic competition. And just very briefly then, two international projects. One in the capital city of Laos, very big water problem there. We've put 5 pilot projects of water treatment systems, natural water treatment systems in, to get the interest going with the local people. This one is shaped rather like an elephant's head, if you can see it properly there. The elephant is very much revered as a cultural icon in Laos, and therefore it gained a lot more attention because of just the style in which we've designed it. But we're hoping to inspire them to look for more ways of actually treating their water systems. And last of all, Koshi Tapu in Nepal. Here we've worked with local communities to actually improve their livelihoods through better management of a phenomenal wetland site there. The way we engage with them, and this is about understanding people, and this is what we've got to do in this country as well, is that most of the chat in Nepal, in that region of Nepal, goes on in tea rooms. So all the meetings we held there were in tea rooms. And that way we engage with a lot more people about the future of that site. So there's my final slide. The challenges, you can see what they are there. I would argue that over the last 40, 50 years, the environmental awareness around the world has grown tremendously. The environmental movement, the resources being put into conservation have gone right up. And without that, I am convinced that we would not be in the position we're in today. We would be in an absolutely dire position. So it's a great applause to everybody that's been involved in that time, including the pioneers like Peter Scott and David Attenborough, that's happened. But I would argue that we've won a lot of battles. I'm back to battles. How about that? But not the war, as we know. In fact, the things are getting worse more rapidly. So it is going to be the connection with people. It's going to be understanding people and us starting to talk the right language. At Nagoya, a big initiative was launched, TEEB, the Economics of Ecosystem Services. Now that makes biodiversity pale into insignificance. You try getting that message across to someone at Old Trafford watching Manchester United. I don't think so. Or someone who's about to lose their job in London. I don't think so. We've got to start talking the right language, and I know you're going to be dealing with some of that tomorrow. Thank you very much.